Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Hades. This is the latest from Supergiant, the people who brought you Bastion, Transistor, and Pyre? Pyre was weird, it was basically just a freaking basketball game of all things. But anyway, just before we get into it, here's all your settings. Notable one down here actually, God Mode. Instantly makes you tougher, so more so whenever you die. So it's just an easy mode, and then when you start a new game you can set it to be a, whenever you start a new game, you can set it to be Hell Mode, which just makes the game harder, but they don't tell you in what way it makes the game harder. It's weird. You've also got some rebindable controls here, which is nice. Nothing particularly wrong with being able to rebind the controls here. And there's like 10 different languages. So I've been playing for a while. I've got plenty of playtime on me, about, 5 hours, maybe, I think? Something like that. I know I ran out the battery on my Switch, and then I stuck it into the thing to charge, and then I played it for a couple of hours after that. Then I just had a failed take where I had the wrong recording profile set, so now I get to redo the take again, because I do not want to have video being that shit of quality. Don't ask me what happened, because I don't know, but it just turned out really bad. Hopefully it turns out better this time.
Get used to that.
Actually, I should probably check. But yeah, thankfully it saved my progress at least. Yep, the file's there. We're fine. Alright, let's go. So, you might notice immediately that this game is gorgeous. Again, because it's Supergiant, and they are amazingly good with their art. They are also amazingly good with their voice acting.
Oh, hey there, Dusa. How's your endless toil treating you?
Mr. Hypnos, do you maybe think that you could, keep an eye on the procession line before Lord Hades, like you were supposed to?
Oh, that's no problem. I can definitely do that. I'll just add it to the list.
Good, then. Glad we had the chance to chat. Now, maybe get some sleep or something. You look pretty beat.
Get on it, Hypnos.
There are some
Achilles is off duty.
ridiculous levels of conversations. There are always different conversations to be had with basically everybody
I should check
once you show up. So we can...
How you holding up, boy?
There are just some... It's ridiculous how many voice lines there are, and how good they are, and how well they're written.
Each terrifying maw.
Especially when it comes to things like examining parts of the world.
One after the next, as if to reassure the ever-doubting prince.
Like, for example, let me just try and find one. There's got to be like an examine point around here somewhere.
The head chef is going to want this fish.
Nope, can't quite find one. I'll find one as I go in, but there are even like all these little areas that you can examine with the narrator. Here we go.
Casks of wine hidden within the recesses of the House of Lord Hades. Few have tasted the intoxicating vintage they contain, and fewer still are permitted anywhere near their vicinity.
Still waiting for the festive occasion when we'll open one of these.
Then he responds to the narrator, and there are so many like sort of mechanical responses like that where it always plays out the same way, but it's also well written that you don't give a shit. It's really well done.
Catch of the day. Or night.
Also, you can catch fish and turn it into that guy for friend-making potions.
Hey, what's that you're drinking, Meg? Anything good?
Whatever it is, it's weak. Enough to be mistaken for your blood.
Nice. Well, I'll just leave you to it then.
So, for example, if I just come up to, say, Nyx and give her a gift.
Nyx, you've done so much for me. I thought you might like this.
You know your father does not like it when nectar is doled out on the premises, dear child. However, I am not he, and I wished regardless to provide you a token.
And the first time you do it with any particular character, they'll give you a keepsake.
I'm very grateful, Nyx.
Which is basically just a power-up, but you can keep giving them gifts every time you run into them. You can also talk to the house contractor, and not only can you make things that'll make the place look nice, you can also give him work orders, which will give you like little benefits, like your fountains will give you back more health. You can find urns that have money in them, etc, etc, etc. It's very good. You can also, of course, pet the puppy.
Your other heads, don't bite my arm off. Deal?
Cease bothering the dog.
So I guess I'll tell you quickly about the plot. Because if you're familiar with this sort of mythology, I'm not, I will fully admit. But if you're familiar with this sort of mythology, you'll notice something weird going on here. So, you're the son of Hades and Persephone, who is, of course, the Olympus god. You found this out because the narrator kind of let it slip in a kind of fourth wall breaking way, which I find infinitely amusing. And now, you're kind of pissed, and you're smashing your way out of hell in order to, like, just...
Mind locating the court musician's sentence when you get the chance?
You're smashing your way out of hell
In the name of Hades, I commute our court musician's sentencing effective
just
now.
because you want to get to Olympus and meet your mother.
Ah, Orpheus.
Oh, hello, Zagreus. I understand you liberated me from my eternal punishment. And so I have returned.
And that's pretty much the entire plot. I mean, there's more to it going on than that, but I don't want to go spoiling anything because, well, this is based on mythology. And for those people who aren't familiar with this kind of mythology, the sort of interaction these characters can have, if the research has been done properly, is fascinating. And of course,
My friend,
with writing as good as this, with art as good as this, and with sound and voice acting as good as this,
stand firm about my answer.
It's alright. Father can't make you sing if you don't want
I just can't help but say, no, you'll see it for yourself, and you should, because it's really well done. And massively enjoyable to talk to literally everybody. I would talk to literally everybody, but if I did, we'd be here too long. So, you've already seen one resource being used down the bottom right there. There's a fair few different kinds of resources. All the ones up the top, the 1 and the 3, those are things you get by beating bosses with different weaponry. You've also got keys, which you can use to both unlock weaponry and extra abilities. You've got resources that'll help you do renovations. And you've also got darkness. So if I come through here and go have a look in the mirror, I can spend this darkness. I can spend it on different abilities. I don't have the keys to unlock the next set of abilities yet, which kind of sucks because they've been turning up quite rarely lately. But all of these different abilities are very useful. They're not massively, like, important, but being able to do 50% extra damage when you shoot someone in the back, or being able to get back up instead of dying once, or having an extra dash built in, or dealing extra damage with different casts in enemies. Those are always incredibly useful abilities to have if you can meld them into your playstyle. You've also got quests down here. So you can get these quests via just doing the story, and they'll give you things for getting all these different abilities, or all of meeting all of these different people or something like that. They're just like extra little buffs for you in order to progress you along the track a bit faster. The one thing that annoys me about this hub world is that it's split into 3 different areas, and I don't know why. It just seems unnecessary. You've got the main area back there, you've got the prince's bedroom, and then you've got this third area here, which is your weapon training room, where you can select your weapons and select your keepsakes. They all have different abilities. Like the one I've got right now is an extra life with 100 health, but there is, of course, different blessings for the gods. They'll help them get rarer blessings. Then you've also got all the other characters, like extra duration on things you buy, extra damage striking from behind, extra life, etc. And these can all be upgraded by playing with them. Really do wish that you could equip more at once. That would be very useful.
I think I'm ready.
But yes, I love Skelly. We're just going to talk to Skelly.
Piece of advice, boyo. You run across a guy like me out there, you just give him a good stab right in the back without a second thought before he says...
He's always got useful advice. But yes, this is also the weapon training room. So you can equip all your different weapons here and try them out. You get a little bit of an idea of what their weapon attacks are, thanks to little prompts going on up there. So it lets you focus on what weaponry you might want to use. It's very good stuff. And of course, they also cost keys to unlock. And since I haven't been getting very many, I haven't even been able to unlock weapon number 5 yet. We're going to be sticking with my favorite weapon, which is this one. It's the bow. The bow is incredibly useful to me personally. I much prefer it. Very good at long range. Has a great, like, short range pushbacker. I don't usually worry about the dash strike.
That's the stuff.
That's the stuff. He likes it. With that said, though, we're just going to head straight in. So Hades is a brawler. Oh, hi, Aphrodite.
You're going to love it on Olympus, little godling. The air is beautiful and brisk, the gardens lush, the feasting plentiful. Why, it must be the opposite of everything to which you are accustomed.
So we get boons. And these boons are different abilities that can affect your 3 different kinds of attacks. Give you certain buffs or bonuses or what have you. And either way, you should be getting as many of them as possible. And all the gods have their own different kinds of boons. So Aphrodite likes to inflict weak. There's this one who's focused entirely on deflecting attacks. You get the general idea. Ares, the god of war, is always open to dealing more damage in ever more brutal ways. You get the general idea. And it's a roguelike. You've got 4 different biomes to go through, each with a few different kinds of levels. Each with a few levels each.
One for the stash.
And you need to go through them. Through individual encounters, which they call rooms, basically.
Come try me.
At the end of a room, you get resources. Whether it be money, whether it be a boon, whether it be an upgrade. And once you have... sometimes you'll get the ability to choose what room you're going to go to next. So you'll get to pick what boon you get at the end of the room, but sometimes it'll also be harder to deal with. And of course depends on basically the will of the gods, or in this case the will of Hades. You have 4 different, you have 4 different actions you can perform on the face buttons. I've already shown you the main attack and the special attack. But you also have access to casting, which is on the A button. By default, it's basically just like a railgun-ish style attack. But that doesn't stop you from getting a boon that changes it. Very useful to use casting as much as possible, because the more that these dudes have on them, the more damage they'll take. Always useful. But you're limited on your casts, and these gems get embedded in enemy bodies. And you need to either kill them or just let them fall off naturally in order to use your casts again. So you can't just spam it. You do also have access to a dash, which has plenty of iframes. There are multiple opportunities throughout each run in order to upgrade it to, say, just have, like, extra bonus abilities or what have you. You do, of course, get things like shops as well. Oh, do I want to get a Chaos Gate? Yeah, I want to get a Chaos Gate. We gotta show off the Chaos Gate. Where's the Chaos Gate? But yes, you've got a dash. It's got plenty of iframes. It has plenty to work with in the sense of, boom. Plenty to work with in the sense of upgradability. And you need to be using it a lot. Because this game can go full on bullet hell at times, and you are going to need as much maneuverability as you can get. Let's hit the Chaos Gate. Costs health, but the boon you get at the very end is going to be very interesting. Ooh, what's this?
The deepest reaches of the underworld. The void from which all life and consciousness sprang forth during the dawn of time. The realm of chaos. A land almost unseen even to denizens of Death's kingdom.
Could you keep it down?
Could you keep it down? Alright. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give Chaos a gift.
Everyone makes offerings to my relatives upon Olympus. I wish to make an offering to you. Thank you for everything.
I haven't actually done this before. I'm curious to see what'll happen. I was hoping you'd do something like just immediately kick me out. But no, he actually gave me a keepsake. A cosmic egg. Whatever the hell that's meant to be. I still get to take the buff as well. And what do I get? Your dash has 40% rage. Afterwards, any darkness and materials you find are worth 80% extra. Good lord. For the next 3 encounters, you don't earn money, but you get an extra cast. Afterwards, your dash strike deals 40% more damage. I barely do that as is, so there's really no point. Oh god, that's going to be a rough one. I'll take the extra cast. It adds extra damage. And I get to choose. So do I want the extra health or do I want a buff? I think I'm going to take the extra health. Because that is what the health up is. So yeah, sometimes you get to make the choice as to what buff you want to get at the end. I always hated these guys because lasers suck. Shit. There we go. Yay, extra health. Also, Trove Trials, but I can't earn any money from this one, so there's no point taking it. They just spawn enemies, kill them fast enough and you get a reward, but the reward goes down as you go on. Hi, Sisyphus. Sisyphus. I don't know how to pronounce that. And of course, they make reference to things you do throughout the game, like beat bosses and what have you, because of course they do. Again, ridiculous amount of detail going into the voice acting here. And of course, I get a choice. Do I want to heal? Do I want some extra darkness? Or do I want Charon's Obol, which is money? I'll take the darkness. I always take the darkness. Let's go and get a buff. There are, of course, other things you can do in the combat. Like, you do have the ability to eventually gain a god's favor, which you can use to call them in. And it's basically just like that a meter down the bottom left that shows up and lets you charge up a special attack. Which is always fun. And it's different depending on each god. But for the most part, you're going to be left with your main weapon and its devices. And that's kind of one of the problems I have with this game. One of the minor problems, I'm going to admit, because here's the thing about the combat. It is immensely satisfying. The animations are incredibly well done and really give you a sense of pride and accomplishment for actually taking the fuckers out, because they all fall over in really interesting ways. Just their animations of their death, taking hits and what have you. Oh god. Alright, I'm going to take the special damage because being able to deflect shit with something that can hit 1/4 of the fucking screen is actually really useful. But yes, as I was saying, it is immensely satisfying to be able to beat the ever-loving bejesus out of all these dudes. All of the timings, whether it be that slight little flash when I charge up a bow shot for the bonus damage, or just how the animations work when the enemies fall over, or just everything about this is so satisfying. It's really well done. And it's helped out by having mostly consistent performance. It's very rare that I see performance drops, and it's even rarer that I see them like in situations that can... It's really rare that I can see them in situations that actually, like, affect whether or not I die. It's usually, like, right at the end. Just the screen shape just, like, massively slows down the game for some reason. It's a little weird. But that's, like, the only situation I see performance drops in. It performs really well. Alright, so my boon's done, and I get my extra cast. What else do I get? An extra cast! No, I'll just take the healing and the resources. Ooh! A weapon upgrade. This might actually provide something interesting. So yes, just at its base, the combat is incredibly satisfying. And the 4 weapons that I've had the opportunity to try have all been wildly different from each other in their capabilities. So it's not like the same tactic is always going to work. Like, you've got the shield, for example, which is very reminiscent of, like, the weapon from God of War. At least I think it's God of War. I might be thinking of a different game, but I'd be lying if I said I could remember right now in the middle of a fight. But all the weapons are incredibly different from each other. Whether it be the shield that has the charge attack that also blocks, so you can use that to just block the shit out of a bullet hell pattern that's coming your way. Or the sword, which you should be using the area of effect attack on as much as possible. Or the spear, which I think is kind of shitty, but probably still has its own thing. Oh. Do I want the power shot? Do I want a relentless volley? Yeah, screw it. I want the explosive shot. This was really good for me earlier. I'll see if it is any better. I'll see if it works for me again now.
Charon's shot.
Hi, Charon. Shame I can't afford any of your shit, but I'll talk to you anyway.
If there happens to be something really horrible awaiting me beyond that door, then give me a sign, won't you?
I love that guy.
I think I see it.
The protagonist just, like, makes fun of him constantly, but I don't like that. I like him. I don't know why. I just do. Also, boss fight.
Oh, hello.
Tell me something, Zag, because I'm curious. Do your Olympian relatives know the real reason you've been trying to escape?
The real reason.
I'll get around to that in due time. Their family. They'll understand, no doubt.
You're in over your head, you idiot. You'll fray what bonds are left between Lord Hades and those ingrates on Olympus.
Alright, well now we get to fight her. And bosses work about the same way that they do regular fights. Except from every now and again, they'll just do that. They'll go invulnerable for a little bit and you can't hit them. Which I find annoying. Those iframes really saving my ass. I'll take my cast back. Bang, bang, bang. There we go. That actually wasn't that hard. Mainly because I got that explosive shot, and I've got 4 casts on me, which makes me ridiculously powerful. This is going to be a good run. But anyway, as I was saying, so the combat is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It is satisfying. It is brutal. It is fast. It is, like, you name it. It's great. But despite all of the weapons feeling really good, and despite all the boons adding some potentially interesting effects, I feel like I've been spoiled by The Binding of Isaac, because one thing that this game doesn't really do right, at least in my point of view, is the overall variety of everything. So, the levels, the monsters, and even the bosses are all pretty damn similar every time you go for a run. And that's like my major issue with it, honestly. That's like the one big issue I have with the game, and it kind of comes back with everything. The enemies are interesting to fight, don't get me wrong. There's a fair amount of them, they've all got heaps of different attacks. And, of course, considering how different all the weapons are, you really need to be keeping up. You really need to be keeping up with your skills on your weapons in order to... I'll take an extra cast blast damage, thanks, because that's like 700 damage if I use all my casts at the same time. There's this one benefit you can get from Hermes that really that allows you to really speed up your casting, which I would really like to get my hands on with this kind of build. Although I'm going to lose that extra cast in a few, aren't I? But yes, my main problem is all of the enemies, all of the bosses, and all of the levels that you fight them on are all fun and interesting to fight. Do not get me wrong. It's merely that they're the same. Once you've played through, like, a run or two of a single biome, of which there are 4, you find yourself seeing the same enemies and the same levels over and over again. I need to go this way, because this is a Trial of the Gods. I think it's something like that. I honestly can't remember exactly what they call this. But basically, I get both boons if I successfully finish it, which is always useful. It just kind of means that one of the gods ends up not being much of a friend of me, so that kind of happens. Just need to find the boons first. There they are. So do I want to piss off Aphrodite, or do I want to piss off the Shield Giver? Well, the Shield Giver is actually really useful. Your dash can deflect. Holy shit, that might be useful. Or when you deflect attacks, it deals more damage. Nah, I'll make the dash deflect. That is really useful.
Sometimes I think that you're quite different than most all the others.
Yeah, they kind of get pissed. Thankfully, you can just give them like a... You can just give them the gift once it's done.
Forgive me, Aphrodite. Let's give her a show.
Whoa! Hello! What was that about? Oh, I see! It's Aphrodite trying to fuck me over! Oh, you bitch! Alright. I understand completely now. But yes, as I was trying to say before I keep getting interrupted, the enemies that you face are going to be pretty damn similar throughout... Shit. Are going to be... Really? They're going to be pretty damn similar throughout the game. Pretty much every time you go on a run. The bosses are always the same. And that's just kind of... Good lord, she does not like me today. The bosses are always the same no matter what. The enemies, while they do, like, slip 1 or 2 into, like, earlier biomes, they do have a tendency to be pretty damn similar all throughout. So now I can talk to Aphrodite.
There is no common sense with love, Godling, so...
Stronger against undamaged foes. Probably not worth it. Your weak effects have a longer duration, but I don't have anything that deals weak at the moment, so I'm just gonna get something that deals weak. Oh great, now I get to choose between them. Oh, now I get to choose against 3 of them. Shit. I think we'll go for weak. But anyway, as I've been trying to say, you fight against roughly the same enemies.
Death is always here for me.
Roughly the same enemies, the same bosses every single time, and they don't change much. To the point where you'll come across a boss and you'll be like, ah, here we go again with this shit. It's not bad because the bosses are still challenging, the enemies are still challenging. You're never going to be, like, completely overpowered. But if you're like me, and you get, like, a decent sense for this shit, you'll be doing alright. And as a result, the game will just start feeling a little bit dull after a little while. Like, I've been playing this for a few hours, and I'm not dull of it. I'm not completely bored of it yet. But those first levels are starting to look a fair bit repetitive. I'm just going to say that after a fair few runs. It's also not helped out by the levels. Because a lot of the levels in question are just not that interesting. For a couple of reasons. One being that a lot of the enemies feel like they're just kind of scattershot around the place, right? It's not like, say, The Binding of Isaac, where the enemies are put in predetermined positions.
Whether you'd be willing to repeat
Oh dear, they're actually having a bit of a bitch slap fight.
Oh, you must know full well that I would do
Interesting.
much more than that directly to your countenance if
As I was saying,
quite frankly,
they're just kind of randomly scattered around the place. It doesn't feel like they're being put down in a way that's to make the fights more interesting. Screw it, we'll just go for duo, whatever that means. But at the same time, the levels themselves are not really that interesting. They often start to feel like the same sort of like platforms in an area, they often start to feel like the same set of just random floors in an area with no like real rhyme or reason to them. They're just there with a certain amount of resource, with a certain amount of just shit going on in order to keep the fights interesting, but not much more outside of that, you know? Just not really felt like they were very purposefully designed to give a specific challenge. They just feel like they're kind of random, you know? As a result, it all just kind of starts blurring together. It's all very well put together combat. It's good fun. Everything dies in a really satisfying way. The weapons feel great. All of the things that I've already said are still true. I'm just saying I wish there was a little bit more to the variety side of things. More variety in the levels, please. More variety in the enemies that we fight. More variety in... God, just like name a part of the game and it could use more variety. That's basically the long and the short of it. That's my one major issue, though. It even comes back around to the weapons in a way. And as I said, again, nothing wrong with the weapons. Absolutely nothing wrong with the weapons or how they work. They're all really goddamn fun to use. There is no denying that. But my problem with it is that the weapons all feel very similar every time you use them. There are some major boons that you can get that will change the way that they work. Do I want to buy another Aphrodite or do I want to just get a... I'll buy another Aphrodite.
Always a pleasure, Charon.
Weak affected foes are even weaker. Very good. Boss fight. Boss fight.
Bone Hydra, you look different.
Yeah, sometimes, just getting back onto what I was saying before, sometimes and only sometimes, you'll get these really cool abilities, right? That'll massively affect the way your weapons work. Like the one that I'm thinking of in particular for this example is one that, it was an ability that would, come on brain, work with me here. That would make my shots, like, way shorter. Shit. It would make my shots way shorter, but I'd fire off 2 shots at once, so I'd basically be doing double the damage. But I've only seen like 2 examples of a pickup like that. That massively changes the way the weapons work. Outside of that, it's mainly just a similar sort of deal where
I do not appreciate that.
where it's basically just the weapons being the same the whole time. Again, maybe I'm being spoiled by the likes of, like, Binding of Isaac, right? Where the way that you attack can change massively at the drop of a hat, and usually happens more than once per game, depending on how well you do. And again, I'm still not saying that this combat isn't great. It doesn't feel immensely satisfying to beat the crap out of all of these dudes. I'm merely saying that if you're doing like me, and you're playing like a multiple hour session, and you get like a good favorite weapon going, you might find yourself getting more bored of it by the minute, just due to the lack of variety in the way the weapons work. Especially if you've got one weapon that you really get along with, and you don't want to, like, waste that weapon. You want to, like, get better with that weapon, but at the same time, you play that same weapon for, like, a few runs, and then you just kind of get bored of it. That's my major issue with the game. My number one major issue is just the variety. The variety in the weapons, the variety in the enemies, the variety in the bosses. You're always going to be facing the same bosses. You're always going to be facing the same enemies in the same biomes. And all the levels just feel kind of the same, because they don't really change much between even biomes. Like, the most interesting thing is how the lava will burn you if you stand in it for too long in the secondary biome, and that's about it. Damn, I wish I had the money for that. I mean, I could sell something. That really isn't useful to me. I might as well take the extra coin.
Should be useful.
Well, I could spawn a Chaos Gate. Yeah, let's spawn a Chaos Gate. See if I can get into it without losing all of my health like I almost did on the last take. But seriously, if you're only planning on playing this game for like
For all his faults, Father did make this
1 or 2 runs every time you run it, you'll probably have a huge amount of fun with it. I don't want to do that. Don't really want to do that. None of these are great, if I'm being honest with you. But fuck it. Oh. Oh, it actually took my health off. I'm going to die in one shot. That's not great. I assumed that meant it was going to take away the maximum, but... Yep, there we go. Not surprised. We'll go for another run with the shield, I suppose, since we've still got some time.
Well,
Oh, and I do like Mr. Sleepy up here, because, you know what Mr. Sleepy does? He talks to you about one of the things that kills you.
Right into you and burst into a fiery explosion, killing both of you. Is that what happened there? Well, if it makes you feel any better, technically, I think this means you got your revenge.
it doesn't.
Of course it doesn't. Oh, look, we can listen to a conversation.
Called upon your humble court musician, as I understand, Lord Hades, sir. Referring to myself, of course.
Well, Orpheus, if you're quite finished with your little stint within the depths of Tartarus, I'd like to ask again. Play us a song already. Or else next time I'll not be quite so charitable with your punishment.
Oh, that. I must apologize again, Lord Hades, sir, for I'm afraid that I've no wish to sing as yet, in spite of your persuasiveness even. And that, is my final word upon the subject at this time.
Is that so? Why then I'll go ahead and wait. I've all the patience in the world.
He's in trouble.
Yes, yes he is. Anything interesting I can build here? Nothing in particular. Let's just go straight for another run.
Someplace else.
Oh, but nope, I don't have enough to get the next one, whether it be keys or darkness. Brilliant. Hi, Skelly. I will take me that shield,
You're using that.
and we'll just head straight in.
Again. For me,
Oh, yay! I get a deflecting power up right away.
Comforts me to see how far you've come, cousin.
Let's see. Your attack is stronger and can deflect. Your special is stronger and can deflect. Your dash deals damage and can deflect. That's a really good one, actually. We'll do Divine Strike.
Shield of Light.
Yeah, but now I can do that. That Bull Rush is not only immensely satisfying, which is good, because that was a weird way to say that sentence. Your Bull Rush is extremely satisfying, and that's good, because you absolutely need to use it. Because not only does it let you do a massive amount of damage when you, like, hit an enemy into a wall, but it can also block.
That's what you get.
Combine that with the fact that you can get a bunch of power-ups that let you deflect everything, and man, you will whip some booty. Also, I mean, you can throw the shield out and have it reflect amongst enemies as well, and that can also deflect. So if you've got a bunch of dudes coming at you and you're just like, okay, I just want to deflect a random bunch of bullets back at you, you can do that if you feel like it. Also, yeah, you're mostly invulnerable while you're doing the Bull Rush, which is awesome. Give me that health. Got a key on the right and darkness on the left. We need the keys. Whether it be for weapons or ability unlocks, we need the weapons. What's going on? Ah, here we are. We just constantly smash them into the wall. Oh yeah, I can also cast, but there's your basic cast. It's basically just like a slow-ass railgun. It's not very useful at the moment. You really do need to power it up to make good use of it. What are my choices? Health or power? You know, I don't actually have any boons that would really make good use out of that right now, so we'll just go for power.
Damn you.
Also, yeah, these guys are dicks. They're just mine layers. That's what they do. They lay mines.
That's better.
I guess we don't have a choice. Just gonna get some renovation materials. It's also good that you're at least getting some point of progress, whether it be in the story or whether it be in the whether it be in the things that you can build with every run, just because of how it's consistently giving you resources. That's always useful. Yep, good block on my part there. Get out of the way.
Mine now.
He also kind of warns you if there's like another choice you can make off screen. He just says decisions or something along those lines, you know, which is always useful.
I'll break you again.
Nothing wrong with that. Keep smashing his ass against the wall if you can. Because as soon as he dies, everything else goes with him. There we go. Who's this? God of Wine.
With you already, yeah? She's cool though once you get to know her. Here, I got something that ought to.
Your dash causes hangover, uses found and restores all health, and gives you bonus damage. Ooh. Or you take less damage with 40% health or below. I think we're going to go with the epic one, because good lord.
Damned lost souls with nowhere left to turn.
Let's go. Now Hades is just going to make me survive in here for 45 seconds. And look at that! A Chaos Boon. I could, like, realistically just, like, hop in a corner and just, like, start a shield charge and then just never let go. Like, I could do that. I absolutely could do that. I am definitely going to do that. I can even, like, adjust the angle so I can block anything coming in from the wrong direction. It's great.
Just a bit longer.
Enough, I've better things to do.
Now to collect.
Bit of a dick move. Restore up to 100 health. That's not useful to me because my health is already full, so let's just go into chaos again.
Alright then.
Well, I don't really strike foes from behind enough with this guy, and my dash strike is kind of worthless considering I'm a shield dude, so I will take my, I will take that benefit, and I am absolutely going to go for the weapon upgrade. He is right, though. I am moving way slower. Now I just need to get a good boon that actually increases my, cast damage, and I'll be pretty well set for this run. Maybe I do need to use my dash strike more often. Good practice, at least. You stay against that wall, you little dick. There you go. What are my choices?
Never been a finer shield.
Do I want to go to the shop, or do I want to get more darkness? Might as well go with darkness. I don't have enough money to make the shop worthwhile.
Nix's power. Useless.
This is a lot of scullies.
My boon from Master Chaos has evolved.
Alright, so not only do I get an extra cast, I've now got my cast set up. That's very good. Now, what am I going to buy? A random boon, some healing, or some extra max health. I'm going to take the extra max health. And onto the boss.
Nice to meet you.
Never mind! Look at that! We do actually have extra bosses.
Hey, you must be one of Meg's sisters. Nice to finally meet you. My name is Zagreus. Not murderer, definitely not. I've done some things that maybe aren't great, but I am very, very sure I haven't murdered anyone.
I think I get the point here. It looks like the cast doesn't stick to her in the same way that it does... Oh, yeah, there are my casts. Let's get my cast back. Where'd she go? There she is. I was not expecting to fight a different boss, I will tell you that much. Where is she? There she is. Look at me deflecting all of her attacks. What? Hi. What? Okay, so maybe there are extra bosses. I just didn't play far enough in. Just keep bashing her against the wall. What the hell did I just do? I have no idea, but it hurt her. It's alright, death to fight. I got some of my health back. Just throw out some. Okay. That was entirely new to me.
That's one way to prove I'm innocent.
Didn't even get that much darkness for it. You usually get more. At least I have enough darkness to get the second extra life now. Even get all my health back. Right. Can't buy it.
Purge boons for coin.
Nothing I want to sale. Nothing I want to sell.
Next floor. The Bone Hydra awaits.
Oh hey, a Hermes buff. I wonder what one will be useful to me here.
More dragons.
Yeah, screw you guys.
More coming.
And that's why you get deflect on your main attack, kids. You end up deflecting shots you don't even see coming.
So then, if he was looking out for me,
3 dash charges? Good God, I'll take that.
That's the stuff.
Do I want Ares or do I want the... I think I'll take Ares.
Steady now.
See what I mean by the Bull Rush being incredibly useful?
You are a most impressive.
He's offering an exchange.
Alright.
The will to fight.
I finally have a God cast. I actually didn't show this off in the last run, so if you get a God's favor on your side, you'll start earning that charge down the bottom left, and you can use one bar for a weak effect, or use every bar for a strong effect. It fills up when you give or take damage. Cool. Oh, I get to go see Ares again. I guess he's really liking me this time. Holy shit, that's a lot of fucking bullets. Can't even get them out there because they're on the fucking lava. I have to dive away as soon as I hit the lava. That's so annoying. I mean, I could use the shield, but that's like what, 16 damage, and I lose the ability to block all the shots. What do we got? More death defiance. Your attack, special, and cast deal more damage. Yeah, no question about that one. Guess we gotta go this way. Well, that sucked.
Strength.
Much as I could use more health, I think we'll visit the shop on this one. See if there's anything worth half a damn in here. Some health restoration.
Pleasure doing business.
And then, what do we got? None of those were worth the effort, unfortunately. Alright, second boss time. Is it going to be a harder version of the Hydra? Nope, it's going to be the same Hydra.
Changed up your look again, have you, Hydra?
Kind of hard to deal with this one in the long run, just because of... well... Same shit as always, really, but... At least I've got my casts. Alright. My Greater Call is fully charged. So we'll just wait for him to go invulnerable again. Can't be long, surely. Yep, there he goes. Now we just pull this off. That did not help as much as I was hoping. Get my cast back. I'm probably gonna die, but I'll give it the best shot I got anyway. Yep, there we go. And we pull ourselves up from the blood pits of Hades, and we're right back to it. But yeah, that was an hour-long look at Hades. It's really good. The combat on a base level is very viscerally satisfying. It's got that fantastic Supergiant Games presentation to it, all the way down to the interesting story with the mythology of the Olympic gods and what have you. Only slightly let down by a lack of variety, whether it be in the enemies, the levels basically just being like places to just dump random enemies in and that's it. Ways to change up your weaponry in the middle of a run, and bosses. Although, as we have seen, there are different bosses that can come in. I'm just saying that, yeah, it took me a while to get to that point, and it might take someone else a while to get to that point as well. My recommendation is this, basically. Don't sit down and play it for like 4 or 5 hours in a row. Pick it up, do 1 or 2 runs, put it back down, come back to it the next day. You'll have an absolute ton of fun that way. I wholeheartedly recommend you pick it up either way, though, because it is pretty damn good. This has been Blue Maxima. I'll see you all next time.